Why are you punishing me? What did I do wrong in my life?
Giuliana and Bill Rancic spent years in the public eye, and they shared so many of their personal struggles on their reality show, but their lives have changed drastically shortly after their son Duke was born in 2012. Bill and Giuliana's son basically hasn't been in the spotlight since he was a toddler. Honestly, we almost never see him anymore. The truth about what Duke's life is really like and why he's been kept out of the public eye is seriously bizarre. When Duke was a baby, his parents regularly filmed him for their show, Giuliana and Bill. They even brought him to their talk show appearances and interviews. Everywhere the Rancics went, it seemed like there were cameras rolling. Bill and Giuliana's lives were extremely public, and so was Duke's for a while, until he completely disappeared from the spotlight.
It was, so heartbreaking.
And for years, people have wondered why. According to what Bill told ABC News in 2013, he wanted Duke to have a totally normal childhood. He didn't want his son to be a Hollywood kid who dreamed of having a career on TV. But at the time, Duke's life had been anything but normal. Duke was still regularly appearing on his parents' reality show, not to mention he had already been on a few tropical vacations before he even turned 2 years old. But Giuliana and Bill were already setting a plan in motion that would completely change their lives. After the 7th season of the reality show aired in 2014, Bill and Giuliana made an unexpected decision. They ended the series altogether, and Duke's life became much more private. 2 years later, Giuliana finally explained her and Bill's decision to end their show. During an interview with HuffPost, Giuliana revealed that they didn't want to force their son into being on reality TV.
So it was a very rewarding experience, but at the same time, we needed to pull back a little bit.
But there was another reason, and it was pretty astonishing.
And I know that's still hard for him.
Giuliana claimed that some things just needed to stay private. She explained that Duke was going to be starting preschool, where a camera crew most likely wouldn't be allowed to film.
I don't know if I would have wanted to show cameras at his preschool or him going through certain milestones, you know what I mean?
And she was also really worried about how Duke would feel later on if he spent his entire childhood on camera. Giuliana felt like it was better to stop filming Duke than continuing to film every embarrassing moment or milestone. That way, the world wouldn't see anything that he might later wish had never been filmed. His parents just wanted what was best for him.
Some things have to be private.
Until Duke could truly understand the situation and make the best decision for himself. Bill and Giuliana wanted to protect his privacy, but what happened next was seriously unexpected.
It was a real shock, obviously.
Bill and Giuliana knew that they had to leave California in order to give their son a more normal childhood. Duke was about to start school, which is one of the reasons his parents decided to move to the Midwest.
My son was starting school, and we always had that understanding. That was when it's time for Duke to start school, we're moving to Chicago.
Not to mention, it would be easier to raise Duke out of the public eye, especially compared to Los Angeles or New York. After the family made the move, they found another benefit to living in Chicago, and it was actually really intriguing. When Duke started school, he was able to attend a STEM center, aka Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. It turns out Duke loved learning at the school, and his parents were also very impressed. Giuliana and Bill were so happy with everything Duke was learning at the STEM school, especially critical thinking. They partnered with Learning Resources, a company that created educational toys so they could bring more attention to how helpful STEM centers really are. Duke seemed incredibly interested in learning, but he also had some unbelievable talents. In 2018, Giuliana and Bill spoke to People magazine about their son's special skill. What they revealed was absolutely unreal. Believe it or not, Duke had learned how to speak 3 different languages, and he was only 5 years old. Giuliana claimed he could speak English, Spanish, and Italian, but what Bill added next proved just how intelligent and talented Duke really was. Bill said that a woman who was on their staff spoke Albanian. Before long, Duke had started to sing in Albanian too, learning how to speak a language that quickly is incredible. And it'll probably be helpful for Duke in the future because of his love for traveling. In 2019, Giuliana revealed to People magazine that Duke enjoyed being able to join her and Bill on their work trips to different cities, but apparently he was also fascinated with his parents' careers, and he once again proved just how unique his mind is. Giuliana explained that Duke really liked watching her on Home Shopping Network and even memorized one of her demonstrations. He asked her to film him with her phone, and what he did next was honestly insane. After Giuliana started filming, Duke recited the entire presentation while pretending to sell her products. She asked him if he wanted to watch the recording afterward, but his response was unexpected. Duke supposedly didn't want to see it, but he told his mom to make sure the recording of him ended up on TV. He seemed so excited about even potentially being in the spotlight. But when Duke managed to get on TV later that fall, what he did on set was unlike him. Giuliana was hosting an E! News broadcast with her co-host Jason Kennedy. When Duke got on set and started dancing, Jason thought it was hilarious, but Giuliana looked completely shocked.
Hi, honey, mommy's working. Mommy's working. Literally, this was not planned.
Giuliana had taken Duke to work with her, but she didn't think he would sneak down the hall and onto the set. Once she realized her son was there, she tried getting him to leave the set, but Duke clearly had other plans. It looked like Duke was having a blast. He continued dodging his mom's attempt to stop him and steer him off the set. Giuliana even suggested that he would get chocolate if he listened to her, but Duke was more than happy just to be on the TV broadcast. In 2019, Giuliana and Bill and Duke decided to move again. This time, their new home was in Austin, Texas. Bill was recently interviewed by ATX Lifestyle, and it sounds like the family is still happily living in Austin, but he also revealed an interesting detail about his son. Duke is 10 years old now, and apparently he's really into Formula One racing. He and his dad had allegedly been watching Formula One Drive to Survive together, but that's not the only way they spend time with each other. Based on Bill and Giuliana's social media, it looks like the family has been going on some really astonishing vacations lately. In April, the Rancics spent the entire holiday in Cabo San Lucia, Mexico. Giuliana shared a family photo of the trip, and I couldn't believe that Duke is almost as tall as her now. Later that month, the family made a super exciting stop at a famous place they've been going for years. Giuliana shared several photos and videos from the family's trip to Disney World, but she also posted some cute throwback pictures of Duke at Disney World as a toddler. Just a few weeks later, the Rancics left the country again for another vacation, this time with their extended family. Bill, Duke, Giuliana, and so many members of her family spent a week together in Cabo San Lucia. But aside from the frequent vacations and famous parents, it seems like Duke is a pretty normal kid. Giuliana and Bill still keep a lot of their son's life very private, but that might not always be the case. Bill and Giuliana have actually considered bringing their reality show back now that Duke is a little bit older. After all, he seems to be very intrigued with being in the spotlight. Giuliana told Ryan Seacrest in 2018 that so many people have been asking her and Bill about continuing the series. She admitted that she was so proud of the show that bringing it back isn't out of the question at all.
There is a master plan.
It sounds like Giuliana is interested in revisiting the idea of a family reality show, but she mentioned that it might need to be a different version or style than what they're used to. I wonder if she meant that Duke wouldn't be filmed as much, or if there would be more editing involved. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Now that we've gotten into what's been going on in Duke's life since Giuliana and Bill ended their reality series, I'm curious, what do you think about Duke knowing how to speak multiple languages? Do you think Giuliana and Bill should bring back their show, or do you think it would be best for Duke to continue staying mostly out of the spotlight? Let me know in the comments below.